some time back, I gave a speech in Parliament where I described India as a union of states. And this is how India is described in our constitution. India is not described as a nation. In our constitution, the line is, India, that is Bharat, is a union of states. And the design that was developed by Mahatma Gandhi, I would say that emerged out of the freedom movement was a negotiation between these states and identities, religions. And so India didn't develop top down. It almost emerged bottom up, right? And all these states, UP, Maharashtra, Assam, Tamil Nadu, they all got together and created a negotiated peace, let us say. From this union of states, which required a conversation, emerged the instruments of that conversation. The Constitution, the idea that one man will have one vote, the election system, the democratic system, election commission, the IITs, the IIMs, all these institutions emerged from the union that provided the Constitution, and from the Constitution, these institutions that allow this conversation to take place, because it is a negotiation, a dynamic negotiation. Emerged modern India. Now what is happening is there is a systematic attack on the institutions that allow the conversation to take place. Right? There is a crushing effect on all these institutions. There is an attack on the Constitution, there is an attack on the election system, there is an attack on the broad institutional framework of the country, and the result is that India is no longer, the states of India are no longer able to negotiate, they're no longer able to talk. And that space that used to be the space of conversation, that used to be the space of negotiation, is being occupied by the deep state, by the institutions of the state that control the state internally. The CBI, the ED, that's what's happening, right? And our job as the Congress, who actually helped build that structure, helped build that negotiation framework, our job, and not just our job, the job of the opposition, is to defend that conversation, to make sure that the structures of that conversation, the Constitution, the institutions, are not captured by the RSS, by one idea, but they are accessible to all the states. That's really the battle. And if you want to take it to the crux, we believe India is a negotiation between its people. We believe India is its people. The BJP and the RSS believe that it is a geography, that it is a sone ki chiriya, whose benefits should be distributed according to the karma of its people. We believe that the benefits of the negotiation should be distributed equally to everybody, regardless of what their karma is. If you're a Dalit, if you're an upper caste, if you're a Sikh, if you're a Hindu, if you're a Muslim, we believe that you should all have equal access. They believe that the access should not be equal. Certain groups of people should get more benefit from the sone ki chiriya, and other people should get less and less and less benefits from the sone ki chiriya, and the poorest Dalit should not get nothing. That's the real conflict that's taking place. The first thing to understand, and you know, my friends from the opposition are here, the first thing to understand is we are not just fighting the BJP. This is no longer just a pure political fight. Anybody who thinks that this is a fight between one political organization and a set of other political organizations hasn't understood what's going on. We are now fighting the institutional structure of the Indian state, which has been captured by an organization, right? Which means the only way for us, we will get no respite from the institutional framework of our country. The only way for us is to go to the large mass of the Indian people. And that's not just the Congress, that's all opposition parties. The CBI, the ED, the stuff that is hidden is now chewing the Indian state. It's eating the Indian state. Much like what happened in Pakistan. If you want to understand the economic policy in India, you have to take a step back and you have to see what's going on in the rest of the world, right? And broadly, what you see is that the Chinese dominate production on the planet, right? What America used to dominate 70, 80 years ago, America used to be the production center of the world. Today that is shifted to China. Without building a production system, right? You can call it manufacturing system, but without building a production system, India is not going to be able to give its people jobs. It's that simple. And we can beat about the bush by saying we are service center of the world and all that. But it is going to lead to social problems. Because the vast majority of our people need what can only be given to them from manufacturing. So that's one thing. Moving from an idea of growth is enough to an idea where growth is important, but production and manufacturing are key. And I think there is a huge opportunity for us if we think about it properly. We have massive level of polarization. We have huge unemployment. We have, as I said, the backbone of employment broken. And we have massive concentration of wealth. We are going to have social problems. They're coming, without any doubt. There is going to be a mass upsurge. Now the question is, can the opposition make that upsurge peaceful, effective in changing the politics? You could also have a situation where you have an uncontrolled upsurge, which is what we are seeing in Sri Lanka, right? India is not in a good place. The BJP has spread kerosene all over the country. You need one spark and we'll be in big trouble. And so I think that's also the responsibility of the opposition, the Congress, that bring people together. Bring the communities together, bring the states together, bring the religions together and say, listen, we need to cool this temperature down, because if this temperature doesn't cool down, things can go wrong. I'm glad the United States has woken up to this idea. I mean, we've been, you know, we don't need the United States to tell us that there's polarization in India. And in fact, it's taken them quite a long time to sense it. We're, of course, fighting the polarization, right? We're, of course, holding a position that brings people together. And we're doing that. The Congress is doing that. The opposition is doing that. But I think what the gentleman reflects is that a destabilized India, a India which spirals out of control, is a problem for the globe. It's not just a problem for us. Democracy in India is a global public good. It is a central anchor, right, for the planet. Because we are the only people who have managed democracy at the scale that we have. Nobody else has been able to do it. We are 3 times the size of Europe, and we have managed it for the last, many decades. If that cracks, it is going to cause a problem for the planet.